Hello everyone, welcome to Language Arts class. It's me, Mr. Joseph, and today we are going to learn a new lesson. Let's begin. Today we are going to learn about action and linking verbs. First, we want to know about what is a verb. So, a verb is the main word in the predicate of a sentence. The verb tells what the subject of the sentence is or does. For example, to walk, to talk, to do, to eat, to see, to buy. And we have many others. Now, what is an action verb? So, an action verb tells what the subject does. Example: know, want, look, work, give, find, call, try, ask. And remember that we have many others. Now, what is a linking verb? A linking verb links or joins the subject with a word or words in the predicate that tell what the subject is or like. Example: am, is, or, was, were, become, seem, appear, feel, taste, smell, and look. And now, a predicate nominative. What is a predicate nominative? It's a noun or pronoun that follows a linking verb and identifies or explains the subject. For example, Sarah's brother was the leader on his team. Was is the predicated nominative, okay? Because he's following the pronoun, okay? Now, let's practice. Instructions. Identify if the sentence has an action verb, linking verb, or predicate nominative. Number 1. Early humans lived in a dangerous world. The verb in here is live. What kind of verb is? Action. Very good. Action verb. Number 2. There are still many unanswered questions. What is unanswered questions? Predicate nominative. Very good. Number 3. It is very difficult to draw conclusion. In here, the verb is. What kind of sentence is? Is a linking verb. Very good. Now, Homo sapiens began to use ivory. What kind of verb is this? Action verb. Very good. And the number 5, the Neanderthal became extinct. The verb in here is became. What kind of verb is? Linking verb. Excellent. Remember that you need to write these examples in your notebook. Okay? And you need to practice. Okay? Subject-verb agreement. In this, we are going to learn about the subject and the verb. Okay? Let's begin. The subject and verb in a sentence must agree or work together. A singular subject needs a singular verb, and a plural subject needs a plural verb. Number 1. If the subject is a singular noun, or he, she, it, add s or es to must verb. When we are talking about singular noun, we are referring to only one. Example: the star shines. We add s at the end of the verb. What is the verb? Shines. This is the verb. Number 2. If the subject is compound, a plural noun, or I, you, we, or they, we don't add s or es to the verb. Example: the stars shine. If you see, we didn't add the s at the verb. What is the verb? Shine. Because we are talking about in plural, stars. For the verb be, use am and is to agree with singular subjects and are to agree with plural subjects. Remember, Singular is when we are talking about only one, and plural when we are talking about more than one. Example, I am a space traveler. And because I'm talking about me, only one, the astronaut is living. Is because we are talking about only one astronaut. The scientists are here. Why are we using are? Because we are talking about scientists that are plural. The pilots are on the plane. Are because we are talking about pilots, and pilots is plural. Noun. A collective noun names a group such as family, team, class. A collective noun is singular if it refers to a group acting as one. Example, the class is learning about the universe. We are using is because we are talking about the class, about the group, only one group. That's why we are using is. Now, a collective noun is plural if it refers to members of the group acting individually. For example, the class are disagreeing about the size of the Milky Way. Why are we using are? Because we are talking about the class, all the group, the class. We are talking about the students. Now, let's practice. Instructions. Choose the correct form of the verb that agrees with the subject. Number 1. Annie and her brothers at school. What is the correct? Are. Very good, because we are talking about Annie and brothers is plural. George and Tamara want to see the movie. What are we going to use? Don't. Very good. Why? Because we are talking about George and Tamara is plural. The man with all the verbs on my street. What is the verb that we are going to use? Lives. Because we are talking about the man is singular. We are talking about only one. There are 15 candies in that bag. In this sentence, what are we going to use? Where. Why? Because we are talking about candies is plural. Now, in the second sentence, now there only one left. What are we going to use? Is. Because we are talking about only one. And in the last sentence, the movie, including all the previews, about 2 hours to watch. What is the correct verb that we are going to use? Takes. Why? Because we are talking about the movie. Very good. Past, present, and future tenses. Let's begin. The tense of a verb shows when something happens. First, present tense. What is a present tense? Well, a present tense shows an action that happens now. Most present tense verbs end with S. Example, Kaylee keeps her makeup in little jars. The verb in here is keeps. Why are we using keeps? Because we are talking about Kaylee. Kaylee is singular. That's why we are adding the S at the end of the verb. Another example. They keep the makeup fresh. In here the verb is keep. Why are we using keep? Because we are talking about they. They is plural. Number 2. Past tense. What is a past tense? A past tense shows an action that has already happened. Most of the verbs in the past tense ends in ed. Example, she brushed on 2 coats of mascara. In here we have the verb brush. The original verb is brush, but we add ed because we are talking in past tense. Number 3. Future tense. What is a future tense? Future tense shows an action that will happen. In this case, you need to add will or shall, the must of the future tense. For example, Heat will make mascara run. In here, will is the future verb. Okay? let's continue. Now we are going to talk about some rules that we can use at the moment that we are writing sentences in present and past or future tenses. Some regular verbs change spelling when ed is added. For verbs ending in e, we drop the e and add ed. Example, love. Did you see? We drop the e and we add ed. For verbs ending in a consonant and y, we change the y to I and add ed. Example, carried. You see, we drop, we change the y and we add I, and then we add ed. For most one-syllable verbs that end in one vowel followed by one consonant, double the consonant and add ed. For example, grabbed. If you see, we double the b and we add ed at the end. In the number 3, irregular verbs, okay? In the case of irregular verbs, change spelling to form the past tense. Are changed to wear. Break changed to broke. Bring changed to brought. Build changed to built. Buy changed to bought. Do changed to did. Find changed to found. Go changed to went. Have changed to had. Is changed to was. Keep changed to kept. And make changed to made. There are many others irregular verbs, and if you can find out. Now, let's practice. Instructions. Identify in which tense the sentence is. Number 1. It mixes the sand and the water. What kind of sentence is this? Present. Very good. Last year, I didn't travel to Korea. What kind of sentence is this? Past. Very good. Dan will take the order over to the customer. What kind of sentence is this? Future. Very good. I saw a movie yesterday. What kind of sentence is this? Past. Very good. She enjoys playing the piano. What kind of sentence is this? Present. Very good. Now that you know how can you identify the sentence, remember, write all the sentences in your notebook and write what kind of sentence are they. Today we are going to learn about the principal parts of regular verbs. But first we need to know what is a verb. A verb tenses are made from 4 basic forms. These are called the verb's principal parts. First, we have the present verbs, the present participle verbs, then we have the past verbs, and then we have the past participle verbs. Now, we want to learn about what is a present verb. A present verb is when you are doing an action, but you don't know at what moment is going to end the action. Then we have the present participle. In the present participle, you are doing the action right now, and you need to add the helping verb am, is, or are, depending who is doing the action. Then we have the past verbs. And the past verb is when you made the action before. Okay? And the characteristic of these verbs is that you need to add ed at the end of the verb. Then we have the past participle. The past participle verbs are when you made the action long time before and you are still doing. But in this case, you need to use or add the helping verbs. Has, have, or had. Now, a regular verb form is past and participle by adding ed or d to the present form. First, the present and the past forms can be used by themselves as verbs, and the present participle and the past participle are always used with a helping verb that are am, is, are, or has, have, or has. Now, let's continue with the principal parts of regular verbs. When a verb ends with consonant and y, you change the y to I before adding ed. For example, cry. If you see, in the verb cry, we change the y to I, and then we add ed. When one syllable verb ends with vowel and consonant, what are you going to do? You are going to double the consonant before adding ed. For example, hope. Okay? Now, let's practice. Okay, in here, the instructions are: identify what kind of sentence are the next ones. She places more wood on the fire. In here, the verb is places. What kind of sentence is? Present. Very good. The second sentence: the darkness has filled her with fear. The verb in here is has filled. And what kind of sentence is? Past participle. Very good. Now the next one. She scrapes bark from the tree with her hatch. What kind of sentence is this? Present. Very good. The plane slammed into the forest. What kind of sentence is this? Past. Very good. And the last sentence is: mosquitoes are swarming around Marianne's head. What kind of sentence is this? Present participle. Very good. So, write these sentences in your notebook and write what kind of sentence are they. That's it for today. Don't forget to practice every single time you can. See you in the next class.